Hey guys, we planned this today. The last 10 minutes. So I'm sorry if it's bad. Yeah, we're not like Izzy with our fancy little computer. No, we have paper. Who cares about the trees? It's, we are on a tight budget over here, okay? Izzy's gone, Gracie's gone. It's just you and me, Caroline.
I feel like this is like the dramatic scene in like some movie about some corporate business or something, and they're like, so-and-so left, so-and-so left, it's just us left here, and we're gonna make this business good. I feel like the two of us filming together is just the epitome of awkwardness.
Yes.
Like, you can tell when it was a video that you and I produced.
So recently, cancel culture has become a part of our society, right? So if a CEO or a company in general does something unethical or just not right, customers will not...
Clientele.
Yeah, they will not continue to give money to that specific corporation.
Whereas Coachella, yes, a lot of people have boycotted Coachella because who is it? The manager, producer?
It's like the owner, like the parent company of Coachella, basically, is supporting organizations like Focus on the Family and different more Christian...
anti-LGBTQ organizations and stuff that they're giving money to.
Yeah.
So people are like, well, I'm not going to go to Coachella because I don't want to give my money to that, you know?
Mm-hmm. But the question remains, like, by paying to get into Coachella, are you, in part, participating and funding those corporations that are anti-LGBT?
Mm-hmm.
You know? So there are... LGBT individuals who are headlining at Coachella. Mm-hmm. So if we're not going, are we not supporting them? Mm-hmm. You know?
And even if you do choose to boycott Coachella, which of course you have the right to do, there's still a ton of people who are going to go regardless.
Yeah. Coachella's huge. A ton of influencers have been advertising it and getting paid to go to it and treating it like a vacation.
Yeah.
It's like a whole week, a whole shebang, whole style, I don't know.
Yeah, so it's kind of like one of those situations, like, yeah, you can boycott it, but in the end, like, I don't feel like the average person is really even that much, like, because it's obviously, like, kind of geared towards people who have more money because it's like expensive to do.
Yeah.
So I don't feel like the average person boycotting that is really gonna do much, especially when it's like an event that you would not go to every year.
Another example, going on the same lines of cosmetics, was not recently, like a couple months ago with the Tarte Tape Shape foundation, I believe it was, where it didn't have a big color range regarding shades for skin tones. And so they literally had like 13 shades, like not a lot. And there's a lot of controversy on it, and people were like, we're not going to buy that if you're not going to include or represent a large group of people.
But here's the thing about stuff like that, is that is mob mentality, because that happened with this specific makeup brand, but there's a lot of other brands who do basically the same thing or something similar, and nobody freaks out about that.
Yeah. No, that's true. Like, it's certain brands that, like, Tarte is a big brand, but I don't think it's like a cult favorite, you know? Like, why do we cancel some things over other things? Like, why does one thing get a bad rap compared to the other thing? Because there are a ton of organizations that support these anti-LGBT
Like, one of the things we talked about was, like, Chick-fil-A, and, like, Chick-fil-A does the same thing, and I actually do know some people who do boycott Chick-fil-A, but it's not nearly, like, the number that would, like, boycott Coachella. you know?
Yeah, it does. Like, it's been talked about here and there in the past, and I've heard things about it. I remember then there was it was brought back up to the surface that Chick-fil-A supports these brands, but, like, it has, like, been brought up, then been brought back down, you know? So it's like, I don't know, it's just things like that. Like, why are we talking about Coachella and not these other brands, you know?
You want to know what I think?
What?
Well, I think that Coachella, people are more willing to boycott it because it's just so expensive in the first place.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Chick-fil-A, people aren't willing to boycott it because it's good.
Yeah, it's not a sacrifice to boycott Coachella. It's only
when you couldn't afford to go in the first place.
Yeah, and it's like the people that are saying they're going to boycott, they were never going to go in the beginning. Like, so what's the point? You know what I mean?
So, like, one of the things that, like, when we, like, chose that we wanted to do this topic and, like, came to mind for me was, like, people who put in, like, their bios, like, don't follow me if you do this or you are this. Like, stuff like that.
Yeah. And sometimes it's a joke and it's funny. It's like, ha ha ha. And then sometimes it's more serious. I don't know. Do you have an example of that?
So, like, one example of, like, the funny thing would be, like, don't follow me if you bite your fingernails. Like, obviously, does that person really care that much? No, they probably have a friend who bites their fingernails. But, you know, a more, like, serious, like, side of that would be, like, don't follow me if you... Okay, this is just, like, one that I know I've definitely seen before. But it's, like, don't follow me if you're a TERF. Which, alright. We're getting more complicated now because I'm sure a bunch of people out there like TERF.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
I don't know what that is.
TERF stands for Trans Exclusionary Radical Feminists, which basically means that feminists who are like, haha, trans people, no thanks. You know?
Oh. Okay.
And like will exclude like trans women from feminism, which is another controversial thing that we're not going to talk about, but like just
too controversial.
Just that general mentality of like, don't follow me, you know?
Yeah.
Which like again, that person I guess has the right to say that they don't want this negativity in their lives and don't want to associate with that, but at the same time, you don't listen. Where this becomes an issue is that they're not listening to anybody who does consider themselves like a TERF.
Yeah.
You know, they're not listening to what those people have to say. Because, like, each kind of does have solid points to their argument. But if you don't even listen to hear about what those concerns are, then I don't feel like you're really helping either side.
Yeah, you're not going to get anywhere if you're going to be black and white about everything and not willing to compromise. With a lot of these things that we're talking about with Coachella, there's a lot of extreme sides where people are like, so I'm going to Coachella because I want to support who I want. And then on the other side, it's like, oh, I'm never going to Coachella again. Or I'm never going to music festival, you know? And so with a lot of these, I think it's important to find the gray area. I don't know if you guys have seen the series on YouTube that's like, it's Middle Ground, where they have like two different debates.
Like, that's, like, such a good series because, like, I feel like some of the people that don't go on there, like, don't necessarily realize, oh, this person thinks this because of this, you know?
Yeah.
Which I think is what makes it great.
Like, a lot of times the other side, other opinion, views the opposing opinion as, like, bad or, like, oh, I don't want to talk to them.
But a lot of times it turns out being that there's definitely an area of compromise in between.
Yes, and a lot of them can find middle ground.
Okay. Another example that we were kind of thinking about is how a lot of people who like used to be fans of Harry Potter no longer really are, kind of just because they're opposition to J.K. Rowling and what she's done, which I'm sure you guys have seen the memes, like, and they're funny. But like the thing is, like, because some people have like a genuine issue with J.K. Rowling coming out after the series is over and being like, Dumbledore is gay. even though it's not really in the books anywhere and it's not hinted at or suggested in any ways. But the counter argument is to that is that, well, when the books were written in the 90s, gay rights hadn't really come quite as far as they have today.
Yeah, I want to clarify, like when I say it's a children's book, I don't mean that like children's book can't have like gay characters. Obviously they can. But
in the 90s,
but in the 90s, yeah,
book would not have sold.
Yes.
If it was.
Yeah, exactly. Kidding.
But like at the same time, like she does kind of have, cause like also a lot about like, I feel like what she wanted to do was that she wanted to keep the series going even though it was over.
Yeah. So stands.
Yeah, cause like the example there is that like people who like follow the show, like follow it obsessively, which like okay, you have the right to do that, I guess. But at the same time, they kind of tend to glance over the issues that the show clearly has.
Yeah.
And there's some issues, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, there isn't a lot of diversity, which, again, that's a common theme throughout the industry.
Yeah. Like, that affects literally almost any show out there.
Mm-hmm. And one of the main characters, Dean, is definitely like a womanizer, which a lot of the fans tend to kind of just glance over and ignore. Also, that show is heavily guilty of queer baiting. Heavily. When a show will make it seem like two characters are queer or in a relationship, but won't explicitly say it at any point because they don't want backlash. But at the same time, they still put subtle hints that could just be taken as a joke to drag people along, but think, oh, they're in a relationship.
With shows like Supernatural, people are so blind to see the issues of the show because they're fans. They're stans, you know? So, one thing we did want to bring up within cancel culture is separating the art from the artist or the work from the maker. And what I mean by that is, this is a literal artist definition or artist example, but Chuck Close is a famous artist who did portraits of people, and they're really good. Like they're beautiful. But people have come out and said that he has had some sex scandals happen. I don't want to say like exactly what they were because I'm not positive, but it was of that nature, if you kind of understand what I'm saying. Do we still value his work? Mm-hmm. Or do we not? Same thing with Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson allegedly has been accused of pedophilia. Pedophilia? Whether you believe this or not, it's fine. Like, if you don't think he's a pedophile, okay. If you do, okay. But, let's just say he is a pedophile. Do we support his music still? Do we listen to it? Is his music automatically bad now since these crimes have come out? Like, okay.
The example that came to mind with me was Sergei Polomin, who is a big name in the ballet world because he's really good. But the thing is also that he's come out on Instagram and said quite a few anti-gay and sexist things, and it's really not the best, to say the least. And it actually has cost him quite a few like positions and stuff. And overall, the guy's just kind of problematic.
Yeah.
But like, he's also a really good dancer. So, should I watch his videos and support him?
Hey guys, so our video basically kept cutting out there at the end of the video. Anyways, we were basically wrapping up talking about the dancer and whether we should watch his dances or not. So since the video cut off and we don't really have an ending, I wanted to toss the question to you. Do you think that we should still watch his dances? How do you feel about that? Also, moving forward with other things like that, with separating the art from the artist, do you know any other examples where you struggle with separating the art from the artist, where you were a fan and now something you enjoyed, some entertainment, is now ruined because of this thing that happened? Let me know in the comments down below. Again, thanks for watching the video. Goodbye, faithful viewers.